Hey everybody, welcome to episode 18 of the All Around Podcast. I am Nick. With me as always is the lovable, delightful Jeremy. What's going on, Jeremy?
Good.
So today is July 16th, 2017.
It's Sunday.
There's a bunch of shit that happened today. We took kind of a week hiatus, if you will. Took a little bit of a break. We did one or two live streams in between, so kept it kind of more casual there. But we're going to kick the videos now into overdrive. And also too, we didn't want to put out a bunch of, we didn't want to put out a podcast that was way slower because there wasn't that much news update, at least just last week. But over last week and this week, there's a bunch of stuff to talk about. This week we're going to go actually in relative order of how stuff went.
Newer stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that happened over so much of a period of time, and with us doing the block party that we did, plus putting out 2 different videos at one time, we just kind of, figured we'd let more news arise, so we give you more at one time.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're gonna go from the oldest stuff that you might already know about to the newer stuff that maybe you're not too keen on yet, and go that way.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's kick off the first thing.
The first thing is Doomfist, which is Overwatch's newest character. I haven't even played the Lunar Colony map yet, so I'm super behind on updates.
So I mean, the map for that was really good. They have the first whole territory for it. It's actually a lot more keen on snipers, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I like it a lot. And it's one of those classic areas too, kind of like how Temple of Anubis is, where it's 2 spawn or 2 capture points, 1 team attacks, 1 defends, and then the second point is right outside your spawn.
Oh,
so it's that death race of oh my god.
So it's kind of like Volsky Industries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, very similar to that. So it's pretty cool. But then more importantly, Doomfist. So Doomfist has been up now for about 2 weeks now on the PTR.
Yep.
Everybody's been playing him, demoing him out. And the reviews for him have been pretty mixed. As a developed character, and even from me, I haven't technically played the PTR, but I've watched enough footage to definitely know enough about the character now. As a character itself, I think he's really good. I don't think Blizzard made a bad
move with it.
Yeah, not at all. And even the abilities he has, the options he has are really good. I just think the problem is with the other characters he has to go up against and the way the meta's set up, especially for competitive.
Yeah.
I don't think he works well, and it's a real shame.
Although everything could change with other updates, because
Absolutely.
When we get the real update, I mean, they're already talking about doing different things to multiple different characters, so we have no idea, how everything's going to balance out, because every time we get a new character, that happens.
Yeah. Well, even, too, just even on a smaller point, super quick, too, we had Reaper, who got his update, where pretty much now he is the designated tank killer.
Yep.
Because now, instead of Reaper only getting souls and health regen back when he kills people, he gets a fraction of his health back constantly based off how much damage he's just outputting. So that makes it a lot better, which is pretty cool. But yeah, Doomfist might get a bunch of updates. His biggest, for me at least, especially seeing enough gameplay and hearing enough reviews of him, the biggest complaint I think a lot of people have is he has absolutely no escapes.
Yeah.
And if you do want to escape an initiative, or an initiated fight, you literally have to pop all of your skills to get out of it.
Right.
And you're then DOA right there. His shotgun extra arm is pretty cool. His charge attack is awesome. The kind of Reinhardt-esque charge. And the fact that he gains a granted armor buff based off how much damage he does is really cool. I think it's all good. I think right now, and especially for the way the meta's set up, I don't think it works that well. But I also think, just kind of going off here a little bit, I think the meta for Overwatch lately, too, has been very clogged. I think it's been a little bit, sour. People have been getting very upset this season with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I also feel like, I don't know what it is, because there's not, a lot of things that have come out recently to take away any attention from Overwatch, but I feel like people, just in general, aren't really paying attention and playing Overwatch as much now. And maybe because it's the summer, maybe because Crash came out.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
there's so little talk of Overwatch. I feel like Overwatch was, stuff that was constantly, there's memes everywhere, and here's, the thought on this, and here's a theory on that, and, other than Mercy's Nendroid, there's not, a whole lot that's being thrown around. Nobody's really hyping up Season 5.
Well, I mean, I think the other thing, I think two things will really kick into gear for Overwatch. And we kind of talked about this a little bit before the podcast, but the fact that they're really kicking in the like professional league of Overwatch. They've even started to air some videos of that in competition with stuff, which I think is pretty cool. And I think the other thing is, we still don't know when the official date is. I thought it was going to be when Doomfist was announced, but we're still waiting for the Summer Games.
Yeah.
So, and that'll definitely be a thing this year, because Blizzard's already like confirmed that it is happening a second year. They just haven't put out a date or anything.
I'm hoping this time it's like X Games related.
Yeah. Well, my thing is, I just hope it's different. And even if it's still, like, my thing is I hope that they add, like, they still keep Lucio Ball and then maybe another game type. And then more importantly, on top of that, you can get new skins as well as old skins.
Yeah.
But yet again, same thing though, I'm hoping with that update is when we get the non-repeat update for loot boxes. Yeah. Which if you guys didn't watch, like, the last episode when we talked about it, just, like, super quick. There's an update coming to Overwatch. It's already on the PTR where they make it like it's 20% now less likely for you to get duplicates. And now, if you ever do get a duplicate, now your gold from every duplicate, no matter what the rarity, will be increased by a set amount. I don't know the set amounts offhand, but I know that's definitely going to be a lot more, which is pretty cool. And then, the only other thing that I thought was, like, super interesting, too, by the way, was, Terry Crews is in Doomfist.
I'm not surprised.
No, neither am I. I mean, like, that's the thing. I think everybody's super bummed out about it. But my thought is, like...
So here's my theory.
Mm-hmm.
I think Terry Crews is going to MC Overwatch League events. I think he's going to be like the face of Overwatch League. So when you go and watch the televised esports and you see this, that, and the other thing, it's going to be Terry Crews talking. It's going to be Terry Crews narrating. Kind of like the host of like the Grammys or...
See, I almost think, I don't know if it's going to be in person like that. I think it's going to be more, because the thing is, he definitely went in for voiceover work.
But maybe he didn't.
I mean, possibly. But my thought is it's either one of two things. And almost half of what you said. One, either he's a totally different character. Like he just did voiceover work for a potentially different character. Or he is going to be one of the new potential, like, announcers of the game.
But I don't think they'll do that. Because I don't think Terry Crews... I think Terry Crews, to use his voice for stuff like that, I feel like would have to have a comedic purpose.
Oh, I mean, I think it will.
But I don't know if Overwatch is going to go that route because they're trying to go so competitive.
Well, I think that's the point, though. I think it'll be an option.
I mean, maybe the other thing, though, too, is maybe he is Doomfist, but he's just the voice of a legendary skin.
Yeah, like that's Terry Crews, legendary, yeah. But that would be weird, though, too, because it's like, then that's a really bold move.
Yeah.
Like, you put him in just to do one voice. Like, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's very iffy. And they did, by the way, too, they didn't for the initial announcement, but you can look it up pretty much anywhere online. They did finally post all the, at least day one skins that he's gonna have.
Yes.
Which are pretty cool. Most of them are pretty generic of, like, cybernetic.
Yeah.
Or more of his, like, Noombani origins or what have you. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now going back to the trailer for Doomfist, we seriously need an Overwatch anime.
Well, so we got 2 Overwatch trailers for Doomfist, but one was very like anime-esque cartoon,
which was the
coolest
thing. We just need an Overwatch show. We need to have story and interactions that we can watch that aren't just these short animated videos we get every once in a while.
Well, my thing is even too, and something that I think is cool is you even have, with Overwatch, you really do. You have unlimited potential for stuff.
Yeah.
And what's even cooler
the whole world.
But what I like about Overwatch, though, which I think is even cooler, is that you don't even have to have a linear story.
Right.
You could just have 10 episodes all take place during different things.
Yep.
And even, like, one thing that I think would be cool is even if they did, like, a part, like, say, like, episodes 7 and 8 are a part 1 and part 2.
Yep.
And it's of a what if scenario of like the Halloween episodes.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, of the Halloween characters, because they do have technically lore.
Right.
Like Junkenstein made the monster, and like, you know, Junkenstein had to find the witch, which was Mercy, to activate the, you know, or to gain the knowledge of stuff. I think that's so cool. I think that'd be like super awesome to do like an actual episode based off like, and that's lore on lore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that would be super cool. But no, I totally agree.
I just want to see like battles happen that like we're watching that aren't like a player playing it. Like, I want to see like what we saw in this anime thing. I don't know. Yeah. I want that to happen. It needs to happen.
McCree like mow down a bunch of people 6-shooter style. Genji go ham with a sword.
McCree turn into like John Wick. Just like he's got like 6 bullets and 10 people and he needs to take them all out.
Yes.
But like all those like robots they were fighting through, like I want to see like
I could watch Tracer fight infinitely.
Yeah, and like, you know, Hanzo snipes up in the top. He uses the scatter shot and he like aims it perfectly, and like the video will like watch the arrows go. And then you can see like Diva like jump out of her mech and fly. Like there's so many great things
stuff that
we could see. And so surprisingly, obviously I know it was like an anime type thing. Mm-hmm. I've not watched a lot of anime. Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of different animes.
Yes. You've dabbled.
The one thing that this reminded me of...
Oh, you're treading on water.
I know.
I knew even where you started, you were like, I haven't seen a lot of anime. I was like, he's going to compare it to something. I was like,
I'm comparing it to an art style. That's it.
Okay.
The Sonic the Hedgehog animated movie. From way, way back. I think the art style is super, super familiar, and not necessarily in the drawing, but in the quick cuts that they were doing when Tracer was going into battle, and when Winston went into Primal Rage mode. It was very similar to that whole concept, and that's immediately what I thought. But I guess I'm more comparing it to the idea of like older anime, not newer anime, which I appreciated that. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I definitely think for me personally, and we won't go like super into this, but it's like, I definitely think for me, I think the golden age of anime is past. Yeah. Like, and I'm not trying to be negative with that. Like, I don't think that better anime can't be produced. I think it's definitely possible. I mean, there's super epic shit that's even coming up, like I talked about in the subbed episode, but like there's way more shit coming out with like Fully Cooley and stuff like that for like part 2 and 3, which is awesome. But it's like, I don't know, for me personally, I only find myself getting really hype over stuff that's getting continued. Yeah. It's very rare for me now to catch like a new I will say though, there is like maybe 2 or 3 manga that I've actually super got into in the past like 2 weeks, which I've been like, oh holy shit, that actually like blew my mind. Which is like totally new IP stuff, so I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I mean, I would definitely like to see, especially the way it was set up. It's just a very, I mean, with Overwatch, even though it was an anime style for me, it felt very just a movie-esque.
Yeah,
like it was a very
and that's why I'm comparing it to the Sonic
movie trailer,
because it was very movie-like, but also very animated-like, and slightly anime, but slightly not.
Yeah.
So it was just like, it was that in-between mixture of like everything that could make sense. Because a lot of people, when they were talking about an Overwatch show, like they wanted Netflix to do it, and they want, like a lot of people want to have the same like graphics as the game. No. But if we could get an Overwatch show, that
would be
form,
crazy.
Like, yeah,
it'd be awesome. But that like 3D stuff, like how they did.
Well, see, I wouldn't even want that. I would want it the way we just got the Doomfist
the anime
trailer. Like, I think that looks so much cooler.
Well, it'd be it'd be easier.
Yeah, and I just think it's so much more fun to watch.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's like anything, I mean, if they in theory did anything like that, even half as good as they just did the 4 episodes of Castlevania, I'd be all for it. So yeah, I'm totally down. All right, so after Doomfist, we kind of had a lull a little bit. But the good news was we had speaking of older stuff, we had older game come out.
So I wrote FF12 for Final Fantasy 12.
When I first looked at it, I thought it was FIFA.
FIFA 12.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you said.
Why did I write FIFA 12? Oh, Final Fantasy. Yeah.
So Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Age came out. Jeremy, before I go and rant about the game, why don't you bust out the reviews?
Yep. So it was released on PS4. It got an 87% through Metacritic, 8.8 out of 10 on IGN,
solid,
7.7 user score, which I thought was interesting because normally the user score is
either
higher. On par or higher,
yeah.
not significantly lower. It's 10 points lower than the percentile. So.
Yes. Yeah.
Just odd.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is a little weird.
But,
well, so let me say this. So I've probably sunk at this point about 20 hours into it. I'm about a fourth way through the game because I've been doing like all the extra hunts and stuff like that. It's really good. I mean, I played the original and I liked it a lot. I think we're probably seeing that user score because a lot of new people are getting into it, and the gameplay is not very favorable to a lot of old school players. If you haven't played this one before and are looking to get into it, the one thing I give everybody a heads up, this one has a fully automatic battle system. And what I mean by that is you can choose to like attack an enemy and stuff like that. And what usually happens is with kind of auto attack games is you still have to wait for a loaded bar for your bar to fill up, and then you still press then A to attack. This game doesn't do that. Automatically when the bar fills, your character then automatically does the action that you were previously requesting. And then we'll kind of do an auto battle setup. And also as well, you can have your computers, like your other party members, do a same thing, another preset moves of, always attack the main leader enemy, and if any of your party members are lower than 70% health, they automatically throw out a potion or something like that. But overall, I like the game a lot. They improved a lot of stuff. The whole job system class setup now is a lot better. It used to be like Final Fantasy X, where it used to be everything was on the same grid everywhere and it was impossible to navigate. Now it's on one like small chessboard, where you just pick one thing and it opens up the 4 paths and you just do that, and then it sprouts and then it just keeps sprouting that way. Which is cool. The only downside of that is when you do pick a job system, you have to stick with it for the entire rest of essentially the game until you max it out, which that's asking a lot.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like a whoa. So when you do first start out the game, you do kind of have to make very heavy, important decisions right out the gate. But I will say, once you hit about 75% way through the game, you'll max out all of your classes for each character and then get to pick a new one. So you will have options by the time you beat the game. What else did they really improve upon?
Well, I know Game Informer wrote an article, I believe it was Game Informer or Game Rant. Mm-hmm. They wrote an article saying that it's one of the top 10 best remakes of all time.
Well, the graphics are really good. I don't know, I'll be honest, I don't know if I'd go that far.
Well, they were arguing that it's essentially the same game,
but just brought up to a modern era. Yeah.
Which also on this list was Crash, which I find interesting because they're two completely different styles of games, but it also made me realize that within 2 weeks of each other,
we got 2 remakes.
We got 2 massive remakes
for Sony.
2 incredible reviews.
Yeah.
So it's just very interesting that those 2 games could have come out that close to each other.
And still done as well.
Still done as well, and also made it onto the same top 10 list. Like, that kind of stuff just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
I was watching videos for the Zodiac Age, and there was like different visual comparisons, and obviously it's going to be visually greater, but in some aspects of it, people were saying that it felt more like a port than a remake, and other people were saying it felt more like a remake than a port, and it's just a very it seems to be a very fine line on where it's crossing.
For me, it's definitely a remake, and the reason why I say that is because they did major changes to the game that do alter how the game is set up. And specifically for an RPG, like if you change my entire skill tree from one thing to another, that changes the game.
Yeah.
That changes the game significantly. So for me, I would consider it a remake. And then the other really cool feature, like a really great feature, the maps for Final Fantasy XII are big. Pretty big. A lot of the open world. And you can't run in the game at all. But the game now has a fast forward button.
So
you can fast forward the combat and you walking either by ×2 or by ×4, depending if you're in a really big dungeon too and you're trying to clear it really fast. Especially too for late game, it helps you immensely. And kind of a silly thing, if you're say into like a trial boss area where you're way under leveled, walking around gains you MP, but you have to take 10 steps to gain 1 MP. Back in the day, you used to have to walk honestly about 20 minutes. But now I can walk in 30 seconds and be good to go. So, just another really cool feature that I thought was neat. And I think, I really do, I think most remakes or reboots or whatever should do that. I think they should have a fast-forward system on a lot of stuff.
Definitely.
On slower games, like slower paced games.
Or at least have something that makes it feel maybe less tedious. Because most games back in the day have always been tedious.
Yes. Well, and that's the thing, too, now. Now, if I want to farm in an open area, I can do it 4 times faster. So,
unless we're talking about Crash, which now the Crash remake is that much more tedious because it is so annoying. So, okay, hang on. Quick rant.
We should, I know exactly what you're going to bring up, but go for it.
So, quick rant about Crash. So, I played a little bit before I did the Let's Play, just to kind of, get into the groove of it and see how it is.
Which is coming out very soon.
Yes, I'm doing it on Tuesday. So Tuesday or Wednesday. Don't hold me to it.
I'll hold him to it. Don't worry about it.
Tuesday or Wednesday. But so I got to past the first boss.
Yeah.
Went to the next level. Went to the next wall level.
Yeah.
I had 18 lives. Okay, that's a lot. That is 1-8. Okay, that's a lot of lives.
The whole Yep.
I got a game over.
Yeah.
5 feet from the end of the level, because the jump mechanism is so different. Because it's 60 frames per second on a damn side-scrolling, side-scrolling platformer.
Yep.
It is so difficult.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because that was one thing that the developers finally announced, because there was a huge debate of Crash, whether the game was harder or not. And a bunch of people were joking of oh, whatever, when you were a kid, it was just... you just never even beat it anyway, so it probably wasn't that bad. And then now you're an adult and you're trying to beat it the game was always that hard. And they came out and they were like,
no, the jump mechanic is different.
Yeah, the jump mechanic is different. And also, all they did was they did essentially, they did take the same game mapping and then re-graphic everything.
Yeah.
But it is still the same area, and, if you're jumping to a platform, the distance is still the same and stuff. It's just graphically now it looks different.
Right.
And it's running at, just like you said, it's running at a faster frame rate. So now you jumping and stuff running is scaled more against you.
Right.
And they didn't think about that when they put it out.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are having a lot of issues with the game, difficulty-wise. It's way tougher.
It makes me want to, just,
Yep.
Snap the controller. It's very
tough.
Very
frustrating. This is going to sound stupid. I might sound very dumb for this, but, it took me a good 5 minutes to mentally figure out how to beat the first boss.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me that, yeah.
Yeah, I was just I couldn't remember.
It was so simple back then.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
There's
got to be something more to do. Now, one thing I did notice, in the original, you only had him 3 times.
Yeah,
this one you did 5.
Yep.
So they did change that.
Yeah.
Which I was like...
Because I was mentally thinking Mario of 3, and then he was and I was like, oh crap,
he's not dead yet.
Yeah. It's a little bit annoying. And then also I think too, and the one thing though where the game didn't get hard, this is the one part where I don't think the game got harder, but gamers are more accommodating to it now. We're more accommodating to, Sonic, for example, where you have rings, and then when you get hit, you lose your rings, and then when you get hit again, then you die.
Right.
Crash, you don't have that.
Nope.
You get hit once, and you're dead.
Yep,
That's it. So I think that gets way more frustrating.
Yeah.
Because you literally can't mess up.
Yeah.
If you mess up, you literally die. Or if you get to a far enough point in the game, or, in each map, I'm making it sound like it's, a 20-hour game. If you get far enough in each stage, then you can get the mask and then actually, kind of run through stuff. But you could still even die after it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a perfect setup. But I mean, listen, that's why people are enjoying it. They're getting back into it, so it's cool.
Yeah, it's bringing back that whole nostalgia feel.
Yes. And I think it's getting a lot of older gamers too, even ourselves, and not it's that old, but just in a sense of oh crap, games were way less unforgiving.
Yeah.
This game didn't have a tutorial. This game just put you in stage 1 and said, go.
Yep.
There wasn't hey, here's how you jump, and here's how you run and jump. No, it was fuck you, man. It's
hey,
look at the control. Look at the controller.
Button.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. You run, jump, and maybe you can spin. There you go.
Just maybe.
Figure it out. But yeah. Yeah, pretty much covers...
So, this was also something that we haven't talked about yet.
Go for it, yeah.
So,
I saw you write it in the middle.
As we were writing notes like we do every time before the podcast, and we were talking about things that have come out that we haven't talked about, and we completely forgot about Rocket League.
Let's do this, and then that.
And then we have all that.
Yeah, well, this is a part of that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I gotcha.
Got it.
Good. Yep.
Aha!
Alright. So, Rocket League.
Doing it on the fly, folks. Yep. We're doing it live.
So, Rocket League got its 2nd anniversary update, which is really, really cool.
Yes, kind of.
I
have some gripes with it.
I have one major one. And
okay.
I'll get to it.
I have probably silly ones.
I have one that's very stupid, but it's...
Well, mine are both dumb. Well, here, let's just...
Yeah.
Here.
So, here's the update.
Go in.
So, they gave new customizations to the car.
Mm-hmm.
There's one... I don't remember what it's called. The track behind the wheels. I don't remember what it's called.
Oh, the boost?
Yeah, but it's not the boost. Because there's another one now.
Well, yeah, it's the... Well, now they added the whole new thing of when you get a goal. The goal burst.
So there's the goal explosions. You can customize the goal explosions.
Oh, and then the engine.
There's the engine, but there's something else now,
noises.
too. When you boost... After you boost for a while and the boost goes away and your car's going at max speed, there's now stuff that comes off the bottom of your tires.
Oh.
And I think they're called tread lines, but that's totally not what it's called in the game.
But anyway,
you can customize those. You can customize the engine sounds.
That's cool.
The engine sounds are interesting because, like, for example, if you bought the Dodge Charger from Fate of the Furious, the only engine you have is the Charger engine. But for all the other cars, you can customize the engine to the other cars in the game.
Yes.
And
I don't know why you would need that either.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Sound customization.
Yeah, I guess.
And then you can unlock more. And then they added new Rick and Morty toppers.
Mm-hmm.
They added a couple new toppers, a couple new antennas. They added the new goal explosion customizations.
Mm-hmm.
So the standard one is just kind of like smoke that pops up. And I don't know what the other ones are because they're all hidden. You can't view them without unlocking them.
Yep.
They added in 3 new cars, which can be unlocked in the new Overdrive boxes, Champions crates that you can get. So you have to get those and then buy the keys to unlock them, but there are 3 new cars that you can get in there. Once you get them, those engine sounds unlock for all the other cars, and also there's different variations in those engine sounds as well that you can get. They changed Champions Field to Celebration Field, so it looks a little bit different. They added in a couple new achievements or trophies depending on what system you're playing on, which are very, very easy.
Yeah.
And then the biggest thing that they changed, at least the biggest thing for me, was the music. They added in playlists.
Mm-hmm.
There's the original soundtrack. There's the original soundtrack 2. There's the lost tracks, which were all of the tracks that have recently been playing on the radio through most of the updates within the past 6 months.
Yes, exactly.
Ever since we got the Aquadome.
Yes.
And then there's the new one, which is a whole bunch of music that's not related to the Rocket League stuff at all, but there are other remixes and other artists.
Other dubsteppy cool songs and stuff.
Here's the gripe that I have with that.
Yep.
Because now that they added...
We have the same issue.
Now that they added in the playlists, you can play the playlists, and you can even combine the playlists and say you want just the first 2 soundtracks. You can no longer skip a track.
And also just going off this then too, what I thought when they said that they were going to have playlists was that then you can pick songs.
Yeah, I thought you were going to be able to customize it. You can't do that either.
You
so the only way you skip a song
is turn it off and turn it back on.
Yeah, open the radio and turn off the playlist and turn it back on. But if you have all 4 playlists running at the same time, you have to turn all 4 off to turn it back on. And it's just tedious.
It's super annoying.
So
it is annoying. And it's a small thing, but it's like, and I think that's something that they're listening to, and they will update quick.
Yeah, because all it is just press the button. Because you have to hold the button to bring up the playlist.
Yes.
So like
that was for me. That was the major gripe, and then also the only kind of other minor one was on the anniversary, like the day of its anniversary. I heard from multiple people that they were doing double item drops.
Yes.
I played for about 2 hours. And I never got 2 items.
Oh, well, no, it wasn't double items. You didn't get 2 items. It was double the chance to get items. So, you had double chance to get rare, or double chance to get very rare. Or in my case, since I have like 95% of everything unlocked, because of achievement, but fuck the hell out of it. I have now a higher chance to get those 4 or 5 items that I don't have.
Got it.
Yeah, that's what that was. You didn't get 2 items.
See, okay. Multiple people told me...
No, everybody worded it wrong. Yeah. When Rocket League put it up, they were like, double the chance for it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or they called it double opportunity drop.
Got it. See, that's what it sounded like. You have double the opportunity to get drops.
Right.
Got it.
It wasn't 2 drops.
Got it. That makes sense.
So your gripe is something that was completely resolved.
There you go. Except for the playlist.
Yeah.
But that'll hopefully get updated. I think that'll get updated soon. They're definitely listening, so it's cool.
I mean, Psyonix is good with that, though. Psyonix listens, and they go very well with it. Also, kind of going off that, They did change the way that you find games now. The menu looks different, and I think it's a lot easier to understand and a lot easier to go through.
It's way easier.
And now there's even new ways to do the ranking systems too, where it tells you how many placement matches you need, and there's, instead of, if you lose, you go down, there's winning and losing, and the ratio changes for how many wins you need to get to the next level. So let's say you need 12 wins and you lose, you might need 12 wins the next time, but if you lose again, you might need 14. And it just depends on how many people are in your class versus how many times that you're racing a day versus how many races that you've done in total. So it's not like Overwatch where you've got like this number, and when you lose it goes down, when you win it goes up. It's just a different tier, and you can either fit in the tier or not depending on how many people are in your tier versus how many people are playing in specific playlists. And I think it's way easier this time, and I actually might do ranked, because now there's ranked achievements, and I want
now you're gonna have to do that. So
now I gotta do it.
Yeah. So that pretty much, that covered Rocket League.
Yep, so going off of another car game, Gran Turismo Sport finally has a release date.
Yes.
Comes out this October for PlayStation 4. There's a deluxe edition, which is really cool because it comes with 25 extra cars. And the game is going to be playable in PlayStation VR. They have not talked about how much is playable in PlayStation VR. If you play the whole game, if you can only do certain events, if you can play online, we're not sure.
That'd be cool.
But PlayStation VR definitely has something to do with it, which is what the major delay was for in the first place. So I'm excited for it. I'm not going to buy it, but I do want to find somebody that buys it so I can play it.
Yeah, I think
specifically somebody that has a VR, because I don't own a VR, but I really think that this game, because what they've said about it is, I mean, it's the actual game in VR, just like Resident Evil is. So you're getting the same graphics engine with Gran Turismo. Their graphics have always been on par with Forza, and to be able to play a game like that with VR graphics, just
what I was just gonna say was, I hope for Sony, and even always being a Microsoft dude, I hope that GT Sport is the Forza Horizon 3 of Sony.
Actually, I just thought of that.
What?
I wonder how close they come out together.
What, the new Forza?
And Gran Turismo Sport. So Gran Turismo Sport comes out, if this would load.
Sorry, people.
October 18th.
Okay, we got the specific date.
Forza 7 comes out at the end of September, I think.
Yeah, because I was about to say, that'll be really interesting.
Forza 7 comes out October 3rd.
Damn,
they are 2 weeks
same
apart.
Month. Yeah,
they
holy shit.
2 weeks apart.
That'll be interesting. I think Forza's going to beat it out, but depending on how good GT is.
The other thing is, on top of it, I mean, they're both exclusives. So they're competing with each other, but it also, really. They're competing against system. So, at the end of this, we're going to see which racing game is the more popular between them, kind of.
Yeah.
But then we're also going to see what system really cares about racing.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Forza's always been one of Microsoft's biggest, where Gran Turismo hasn't been that big of an exclusive in the past few years.
Yes, but also that's Gran Turismo's fault for not putting out games. But there's definitely a demand for having a good racer on PlayStation.
Yeah, because the closest thing they have next to it is Project Cars.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, the other thing that is demanding, which I don't know if Need for Speed Payback is going to do, but people want Midnight Club-esque games.
Oh, definitely.
And we're not getting those.
Yeah, for a while.
Yeah, so that upsets me.
I mean,
that's a whole side tangent.
People want that. The only other one that I still think people want, and this is like totally going off the most random thing ever, but I hear this like literally all the time, is going off more sports, but Fight Night.
Oh, yeah.
People want Fight Night all the fucking time. It's absurd.
Maybe the next Fight Night I'll have Mayweather and McGregor on the front cover.
After the fight?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll announce it. Oh, maybe they'll announce it during the fight. How crazy would that be?
That'd be insane. Wait, no. We're doing that thing again where we make hypothetical things in our head and then we get excited. Let's stop that, because that would be...
So, going off of, at least, though, upcoming games, the next big game that's coming out for Nintendo...
On Friday.
Yep, on Friday. Splatoon 2.
Yep.
Which is looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's looking amazing.
I'm pretty excited for it. Like, Switch has kind of been... I think the games for it lately have been very hit or miss. And I think this is the one
I mean, a lot of them have been a hit, though.
Oh, no, I mean, a lot of them have been good.
They're hit or miss with the public, but majority is getting hits with them.
Yes.
So
and let me word it this way: for dedicated gamers, this looks like the next game to get on Switch.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's also the next big Nintendo exclusive.
Exactly.
Between Splatoon, I guess Mario and Rabbids would be next, and then we don't get anything until Mario Odyssey at the end of October.
The only other thing would be Pokken Tournament.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. That does come out in September. But even the end of September, so they have like one at the end of each one of the next months.
Exactly.
So
they have one.
There's a good enough time for people to play those games, but at the same time, if you're not into Splatoon and you're really just waiting for Mario, you just have to wait for Mario.
Yeah, which does suck. But
then there's all the people that get to play NBA and FIFA and WWE now is coming to the Wii, to the
Switch.
The Wii. Oh, yeah,
the Switch. The Switch.
Wow.
But yeah, Splatoon 2 is looking awesome. The whole single player now, they're like almost. They said the campaign is like almost 4 times as long as it originally was. They're doing a horde mode for single and multiplayer, which is really cool. Multiplayer features are a lot better. They're adding in extra weapons.
They're doing local multiplayer with the Joy-Cons, but they're also doing up to 8?
You are correct.
8 players. If you have 8 different Switches.
Yep.
With the not doing the Wi-Fi thing, which is really cool. I always want to call that infrared, but it's not infrared. I don't remember how they.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, I don't remember.
We're not smart. We don't know what it's called. You get switches together and you play it. That's how it's.
They just know.
Remote play. I don't
psychic.
know what it.
They have that.
Yeah, it's like the DS remote play. I don't know what it is. So, and then the only other thing before we talk about the huge, big thing that's actually technically still going on as we're recording today. We're not going to talk about that yet. First, Jeremy actually introduced me to something, this totally new service coming up.
Yes.
And we just want to give everybody a heads up on what it is.
There's this new thing that nobody's really talking about that I feel like they should be talking about because it seems kind of important. It's called Jump. Yeah. And it is a Netflix-style service for games.
And particularly indie games. Which is interesting.
It's kind of going to be like how PlayStation Now is, but it's going to be a lot more affordable because it's only $10 a month.
Well, let me say this, by the way, too. Sorry. This isn't like a paid ad. We just honestly, genuinely... We're not... Jeremy genuinely found this. We both kind of talked about it, and we're like, this is kind of a cool thing to bring up. And honestly, too, at the end of this, too, just leave in the comments, too. We want to know how you guys think about this. Is this a good move for them to do specifically with indie games? Is this a bad move? But anyway, sorry.
Definitely not like a sponsor thing.
Yeah, no,
it's something genuine because I feel
I knew you were going to bullet point, and I wanted to be like, for the record, Jump is not paying us to do this at all.
No, but
we just want to inform people.
Yeah, I don't even know if Jump's owned by somebody else or if that's just
very true. Very true.
But no, it's just something genuinely I think people should know about because it's going to be on PC for sure. There's possibility it's coming to console, being Xbox and PlayStation. Probably not on the Switch. But it's $10 a month, and you get 100 indie titles.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is very 80s influence. The logo looks very 80s influence. It kind of looks like when the Marvel Studios logo came up in Guardians 2 and was all like flash forward and had like the
it's like 80s
signs behind
or
it.
like 70s too.
Yeah, 70s, 80s. Yeah. But it's very
80s is more like flashing light. 70s is that like like that trip thing.
So
of letters.
It's got all those things going on, but everything seems to be almost related to like old Genesis and Nintendo style games is kind of what they're pushing for. A lot of 8 and 16-bit stuff.
Well, I was just gonna say there's gonna be a bunch of stuff like Metal Slug.
Like I can totally see Shovel Knight being part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're doing
like
indie
Fez.
games. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Like new. I'm saying like newer and older.
Yeah,
like,
newer
we'll see
and older.
Galaga and probably
Asteroids,
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man.
Exactly. Yeah.
So obviously those Galaga and Pac-Man, they aren't necessarily indie titles because they're owned by big companies now, but we'll get stuff like that. Like,
but and more importantly, I think it's just going to house games that aren't getting $60 physical release. Like releases.
Because I mean, at the same time, like they were talking about different games, and they brought up, how when they wanted to start it, because this is a project that they've wanted to start for a little while. And when they wanted to start it was when Limbo first came out. And Limbo was one of the games that they were talking about putting on this service, and then they were going to add, like, Shovel Knight to it. But then, like, whatever company was going to start it, I don't remember what it was. They, like, dropped the idea, and then the people from this company left, and now they've started to, like, try to bring it up. But basically, it's just going to be kind of like just an indie hub. But it looks really cool.
It looks
it's
awesome.
Only $10 a month.
Yeah, $10 a month is
100 games
bad.
a month that will rotate in and out. You don't actually download the games; you stream them, which is why it's Netflix type service. So you will need decent internet to do it.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see how they're gonna keep save progression, or if it's gonna be such indie titles where it's like it's Pac-Man, so you don't save it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. We'll see how it goes.
But yeah, there's no launch date for it yet, so we don't know when it's coming out.
We just want to give you guys a heads up on it, and like I said, what do you think about it? Cool, not cool? I feel like everything's doing a service now, but this is definitely a new type of service.
Yeah, this is definitely something that's different.
I'm not against it, and it is going to be on major consoles.
Yeah, eventually.
So, yes,
PC first.
Yes, of course, but yeah, I think they'll be good too. I think PC is the perfect place to talk about.
Now the only thing is the only thing that I can see stopping this from ever going to major consoles is PlayStation Now and the Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
So, because both of those include indie titles like Limbo and Shovel Knight.
But I think they'll share those, though.
Yeah, I think so. But we'll see.
Yeah. So what came out, or what's out currently, actually this whole weekend, but it's finishing up today, is EVO 2017.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been very lucky. I'm actually on vacation this week, so I've been able to literally, just binge all day of EVO. The only time I'm not is when I'm taking this little break so we can record this.
Yeah.
But I've literally put, oh my god, I've sunk already 10 hours of just purely watching all the fighting tournaments.
So for those of you that don't know, EVO is basically a giant tournament for multiple different fighting games that break everybody up into different brackets and then go through and do, top, what did they start with, 16?
Well, even originally it's 32.
Right, but then when they start televising it, it's 16, right?
Top 8.
Top 8.
They do, yeah, they do top 8. Well, sorry though, you are technically right. It's top 16 for when they start doing, actual recordings and stuff like that.
And then top 8 is all of Sunday.
Top 8, top 8 in the finals day is all of just Sunday. Yeah, usually all the stuff before that top 16. Depending on the tournament, sometimes 32 is on Saturday. What they sometimes do with 32s is they only record for us to view. We watch one bracket, not the whole thing. It depends on the place and setup and all.
But it's all fighting games, so I mean, Mortal Kombat's part of it, right? Street Fighter's part of it.
Yep.
Tekken's part of it. Smash Bros. Melee and Smash 4 are part of it. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yep.
Is King of Fighters part of it?
King of Fighters was not part of it this year.
Okay, I didn't think so. I thought that was one that got taken out.
But they are, I was about to say, but they are a part of it.
But you've been watching them, so by all means.
So, the first thing I'll talk about is the disappointment.
Okay.
Just because I'll get that out of the way, because a lot of it was good. The first thing disappointment-wise was so not to super bash on PlayStation, but Evo decided to use PS4s. This is their first year that they decided to use PS4s.
That's right, you're telling me this.
2 of the games crashed. Not during gameplay, but right before one of the tournaments started for Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom. And then Tekken had 2 different controller issues that they had to shut down for. Which is kind of a pain. I literally had to sit there waiting in the live stream lobby for about 20 minutes before they fixed both, which super delayed stuff. Actually, which we'll talk about in a bit, because what's really cool about this Evo, which they do at some Evos, but they really did at this Evo, was they did a bunch of game announcements and game updates, which is super cool. This was almost
we got a lot.
This was almost a mini E3 of Evo.
Just for fighting games.
Yeah, just for fighting games, which they did a lot of stuff. But what was disappointing was because one of the delays took 20 minutes, one of the announcers for one of the trailers didn't get to talk about what just happened in the trailer. They literally came up on stage, announced who they were, and then left.
Oh,
it was really shitty. And the Twitch stream destroyed everybody that was having issues and stuff too. It was really funny. And then the only other major disappointment, and this is just personally, this isn't an actual thing, that everyone would be disappointed by, but Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which has been at EVO for at least 5 years, definitely longer. It's probably been 7 years. It's been a very long time. It is its official last year that it was at EVO.
Yep.
And for a company like that, or for a game like that has been one of the main flagship headrunners of, one of those games of, potential infinite combos and stuff like that, it's a big deal. And this tournament just was not what I expected. And every year I've watched EVO, when I've either had the pleasure to live stream it live or watch the highlights, every year of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom is the utmost hype. Yeah. And this year was just not. Like, a lot of the major hit players got kicked out early by a specific player who ended up actually winning, but I won't spoil that for people who actually want to go check it out, because I do think you should check it out.
Yeah, they're even fun to watch.
Exactly.
They get very intense. Especially Smash Melee gets pretty intense.
Exactly. So, there was, and that's exactly, I'm glad you even said that. So, that was my only real gripe. Otherwise, the whole tournament so far has been fucking amazing. Like, Melee was great. The only thing about Melee was it was very systematic this year. You knew exactly who was going to win. The fight mechanic was pretty set in its way, and we knew who was going to win, and they won. We knew who always ends up in the finals. It's the same two people
every year,
every fucking year for the finals, and one of them had to win, and we were pretty sure it was one over the other, and that's exactly what happened. Which was good. It was a good back and forth. And then actually the one that I'll bring up, and this is me usually being more of the indie guy, which I usually am, but I will say if you're going to watch any EVO this year, the personal one I recommend checking out is BlazBlue. BlazBlue's, by far, in my opinion, took the cake. A lot of the fights were nail-biting. I was literally on the edge of my seat. One of the times, I flipped a chair. A lot of stuff happened. It was awesome. I was so glad I was able to watch everything of it. And I haven't been too big, personally, I love BlazBlue. I've played all the games, and I followed the story actually very, legitimate. But this tournament, you don't have to know anything. You can literally just jump in and start learning the fighting mechanics as you're watching, which is really cool. And the fights are just so good. There's such a good trade-off of back and forth. You can really tell people's skill level. It's not these one-sided, one thing with Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom this year was it was just a bunch of people 3-0ing. That happened constantly. And that really upset me because you weren't really gauging skill level from different people. It was, just this person could always beat this person and vice versa. But, in BlazBlue, you saw back and forths a lot. You saw two people come out of losers bracket into winners to try to come back, and it was really good. So yeah, like I said, BlazBlue, in my opinion, totally took the cake. I'm saying this though, technically as of recording, they're currently doing the winners finals of Smash 4. Yeah. Which Smash was pretty solid, but yet again, in my opinion, it seems like the DLC characters are kind of running away with the prize on this one. So
Bayonetta and Cloud.
We'll see what happens, but I don't want to call that too early because anything could happen in between then. But going off on then a couple of the announcements for them.
Yep.
So I'll do the smaller ones and then do the really big one. So Tekken 7, which also had an amazing Evo, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 if I had to rate it. Put Geese Howard in. That was the new character that they're announcing, which is one of two for their season pass. Because their season pass is adding 2 characters, a stage specific for each character, and then a bunch of extra outfits for that character and all the rest of the characters for when each character comes out. Who's a part of, so Geese Howard, who's a part of Fatal Fury. Yeah, if you guys didn't know. It was actually really funny even too, even during the Twitch chat when they announced him. It was like everybody was saying Geese, way before. It was like, Geese is on the lease, and it was so loose. And they kept doing that, and everybody was chatting, but then the other 50% of people had no idea who the fuck he was. They were just like, what? So if you're not super in depth on Fatal Fury, which not a lot of people are, it is kind of a niche market. Personally, I think they could have picked someone different. I'm glad they didn't pick another Street Fighter character because I wasn't looking for a Street Fighter cross Tekken game.
I think they would have been cool if they picked somebody from Virtua Fighter or Dead or Alive. Yes. Or something that's on that level. Me personally, I would have thought that they would have picked Ryu Hayabusa. I thought that would have been the perfect, because then you get the Dead or Alive, but then you also just get Ninja Gaiden. So it's the perfect mixed character. Yeah, it'd be neat. That's me personally. He'd fit in well, too. Absolutely. That's why he is a Yoshimitsu. You know what they should have done? He's a Yoshimitsu type fighter, but that's way more serious. They should have picked somebody from Power Stone. They still can. They still can. But but Power Stone. They just picked somebody from Fatal Fury. They can totally pick somebody from Power Stone. Don't give me that look. I'm just saying, Power Stone's a bold one. It's true. Can we just get Power Stone 3? Yeah, I was going to say, let's just do that. I just want another Power Stone, damn it. So Tekken did their announcement for that. DBZ Fighters, which obviously everybody already knew about. We already fangirled about it a lot. Yep. We did talk about, the last time we did record, about Trunks. Yes.
So Future Trunks is a character that's 100% guaranteed.
Yep.
There's a rumor of it, but now it's guaranteed. And more importantly, they showed off the first trailer for him, which is really cool. His super's awesome. He has his burning attack. His dashes are really cool. He uses his sword in his combos, which a lot of people were worried about if he was going to do or not, if it was just for show, which it's not. So he does a bunch of stuff, which is cool. And then the most important part of it is they announced that this month they are doing a closed beta for DBZ Fighters, which is fucking awesome.
At the end of this month.
Yes.
Like in 2 weeks.
July 26th is when you can
start. 10 days.
Yeah, is when you can start applying for the closed beta. And then the last thing, and this is more like the most important of why.
Hang on. Talk about this.
Oh yes, Jesus Christ. Yeah, you're totally right. I saw when you wrote it, and then I just thought like, oh, and I just saw MVC, so I was just like, oh, that's I already talked. Yeah.
Nope.
So. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 at the end when they did kind of finish the lackluster tournament, if you will. But the grand finals was hype, so you should definitely just at least watch that part. And then afterwards, they did a secret fight, if you will, of 2 other fighting like pros, but not that were in that tournament. Showed off Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, not Ultimate.
Not yet.
And they finally showed off at least for now, what is presumed the character roster, which the rumored character roster is legitimate.
Yes.
Can you really quick, because I'm totally spacing on the name, can you look up the name for the one character? He's from Darkstalkers.
Yeah.
That's the on there.
Jeddah, I think his name is.
I think, but yeah, double check me on it. Starts with a J, but it's from Darkstalkers. They showed off him as gameplay. They showed off Ultron as gameplay too, which is really cool.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's awesome. His combo set is sick. He actually has the same combo system and moveset that he had from Darkstalkers, which is super cool.
Jeddah.
What is it?
Jeddah.
Jeddah. There
Jeddah.
That's what it is, yeah. So it's really cool. I just want to double check the name. That's what I thought it was, but I just want to make sure. So he looks awesome. A lot of the characters look pretty cool. They were showing off kind of the powers and how the actual fights go, especially by pros who have technically got to demo out the full game for about 2 weeks. So, still, in my opinion, the only disappointing thing is no X-Men characters.
Yeah.
That's still like a really big... Yes, we did. But it's still, for me personally, it's still a really big fucking bummer because when I think Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom, one of the first characters I think of is Wolverine.
Yep.
Like, it is just impossible to not integrate that with that.
Yep.
But not super bummed about that.
Yeah,
the gameplay
maybe
is
instead
very cool.
of an Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, we'll get Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite 20th Century Fox Edition.
God damn it. And then
This is the big one that he was going to mention.
Yes, of the Evo hype at least, and then we're going to talk about something, in my opinion, way bigger. But this is something that I didn't even know I wanted, and I got. Nice hint.
Yeah.
I totally calculated.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
So, the biggest announcement for fighting game-wise, which blew my fucking mind, was at the end of BlazBlue, they are coming out with a new game, which is just, another BlazBlue game, whatever. But the game for it is BlazBlue Cross Battle.
Yep.
Which now they're adding in Persona from the Persona Arena, the Under Night series, and last they're adding one guest character, which is Ruby from the Rooster Teeth series Ruby, which is fucking crazy how many fucking characters are adding into this. Yep. I never even thought that this game would even be a possible thing. And all of my dreams are coming true with
Whenever, like, people would always say, like, what would be, like, a really cool, like, crossover game? Never once would I ever think BlazBlue and Persona would be games that would, like, mend together like that.
But goddamn it works out perfectly, because the combo system for them both is very similar.
Well, I mean, from the little gameplay that they've shown in the trailer, like, it looks like it's going to be really hype.
I'm so looking forward to it. Definitely next year, like with Dragon Ball Z and with BlazBlue, I could not be more fucking pumped for fighting games. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Injustice had, like, my jaw dropped on the floor with, like, that stuff. These, in my opinion, for me, especially more being an anime guy, these are going to be, like, my game of the years. Like, these are going to be the games that I'm literally playing all year.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, I'm getting like Ultimate Editions for both if they ever announce them.
I mean, until the next thing comes out.
Yes.
Then your life's gone. That'll be like your next Persona.
If it comes out when they say it's coming out.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway,
If.
but that'll be your next Persona.
The last thing though that I did want to bring up with that BlazBlue game is, at least for right now, it's only for PS4.
Yes.
And probably PC, but they didn't say that.
I would assume it would just be PS4.
That's what I'm not sure of. They just said at least right now coming to PS4. So right now, as we're saying this, it's PS4. The last thing that we need to talk about, it happened about 2 days ago, was a huge announcement from Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
So they showed off a whole new trailer.
Yes, which looks amazing.
They showed off a bunch of further weapon mechanics.
Yep.
They showed off more of the Keyblade actions, the dual guns, and then as well a new cannon where the guns kind of fuse.
It's another drive form that you can do.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't even say drive form, at least for now. It's just a new weapon. Yeah. I don't know if it's a fusion weapon or what's happening with it, but
they did show off the shield.
Yes.
Which looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest thing they showed off was they are putting Toy Story into Kingdom Hearts, and Sora, Donald, and Goofy get turned into toys.
Which is cool, but I think they did the designs wrong.
For Sora.
Yes.
I think Donald and Goofy look fine.
Yep, I agree.
Sora looks a little bulky.
He looks too blocky. Yeah. And it looks really stupid when he's talking to Woody, who looks perfectly round and normal.
Yep.
Like, it looks like... Hey.
However, I think they'll change it. I think it makes sense, though, even if he stays blocky. Because
for his combat system and stuff.
And he's not supposed to be there. And he's not supposed to blend in.
Yeah.
And all that. But what's interesting is that they chose a story that is completely original for the Toy Story universe, but stays true to the lore, in which this takes place after Toy Story 2, before Toy Story 3. Another very interesting thing is that when they pitched it afterwards, when they were talking about it, they used very interesting characters, in which case they were talking about the world, because they said you can fight alongside Woody, Buzz, and the little green army men. So I'm wondering if there's going to be like something that you can do that just like calls an army of little green army men, and they parachute down.
I 100%
like, that would be amazing.
Well, and then also too, like the fighting cinematics look fucking.
They look insane. The graphics look insane.
They look insane.
It literally looks like you are playing inside of the Toy Story 3 movie. Like the graphics for it just look insane.
It looks nuts.
It's coming 2018 from what they say. This is the first time, though, that they've given us a date. They have said a year. They have not said a year before this.
Well, yeah, exactly. Let's say it this way. This is the first time they said a year.
Yes, yeah. Release year.
Yes, which is still pretty bold.
Yep.
And I still, for me personally, that means nothing. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just not going on the hype train yet. And the only other thing, and I'm not trying to poke holes in it because I want to be this hype. I want to love this. I want to love this with 1,000% of everything, and I want this to be like the next coming.
Yep.
But the only thing I was nervous about was during, especially, because during the main gameplay we saw HUDs and stuff, but during the really cool scenes, there was no HUD. I'm very nervous about that.
Well, I think that's just because that was in-engine footage.
I think so too, but that's what I'm saying. But I want that gameplay in my fucking game. I want that in the game. That's why we're looking at it. I want it in the game.
Yep.
I hate when they do this shit because they'll put it, there's no HUD, and then I'm like, and then they never fucking put it in. These epic fights that Sora has. Yep. I better be surfing on Heartless with a fucking graphics engine when they showed it 15 trailers ago. Yeah. I'm watching you, Square Enix. Give me my fucking surfing Heartless.
The other thing that I think was really cool about it was the Heartless also were toys. In Toy
Story,
which I thought was really cool. But aside from the trailer, Nomura, who is the director for Kingdom Hearts, came out and made a very interesting statement where because they were talking about the fact that Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming to Xbox One, so it is definitely a thing now that it will be Xbox One and PS4. But he said, without really being asked, he came out and said that he is not ruling out the possibility of the remakes of 1.5, 2.5, and 2.8 all appearing on Xbox One at some point. Nor is he ruling out the remakes or Kingdom Hearts 3 on the Switch.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah. So, I think they would probably put Dream Drop Distance by itself on the Switch, or 2.8, just to see how it would work with the mechanics, if they could make it work, then do the other ones.
Yeah.
But I can absolutely see the entire series coming to Xbox.
Oh, definitely. 100%.
Especially if enough people buy... Because it's not going to happen before 3 comes out. So...
I mean, I'm just saying... Hold on. Let's just throw a funny example.
Okay.
So we already have 1.5 and 2.5 on a PS4 disc.
Yep.
All you really have to change is the button mapping.
Yep.
It isn't that hard.
No.
And you already have that almost all on one setup.
Yep.
And then 2.8 would still be separate.
Yep.
And you just literally have to change the button mapping, change the random logos and stuff like that. You could report that by April.
The only reason I'm saying I don't see it coming out beforehand is because I think that they're going to want to base whether or not to put them on the Xbox based off of how many people really buy Kingdom Hearts 3 on the Xbox.
I don't think.
Because they're taking a risk putting it on the Xbox in general. Because this has always been... I mean, the main series has always been a PlayStation exclusive. We've had the Nintendo offshoots, but either way, they've both been Japanese consoles.
Personally,
I don't know.
This is my thought. I think they're absolutely going to do it beforehand. Because I think they need to. Because that's how you're going to draw the Xbox crowd in.
Yeah.
Because so many people would...
But how many times has this company done things backwards?
True, but I'm just saying this. And I do think that they're thinking smart with this. Because if anything, and even if they're not thinking smart, the first thing Square Enix is done 15 times before Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out is giving us the same 6 games 36 times on PlayStation. They're going to do it at least once on Xbox.
I hope so.
And just because right now, and here's how I think of it. We're in July as of right now.
Yep.
I don't think the game is coming out until November of next year.
I'm going to say October.
Okay, that's fair. So October, November.
Yep.
But still, 4th quarter.
Yeah.
Okay, so 4th quarter. I think they're dropping all the HD remakes 2nd quarter. They give you ample enough time from now until literally then to put out the game, which is beyond plenty of time.
Yeah.
So beyond plenty of time to put that out, plus still have the time to play the games and not just put them on there and go, well, the game comes out in a week. Tough shit, you know what I mean? Because I'm sorry to say this, you cannot jump into 3 without knowing what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, no, you can't.
And if you do, you will lose so much of what makes a series important.
Because you'll be like, oh, that's neat. Like, no, that's not neat. Actually,
that's amazing. There's this character.
Or that's really shitty because you don't know who that person really is. You fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Damn, you went savage. Moral of the story.
Hey, there are 3 things that I care about: Uncharted, Sonic, and Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
4 things. Gears is in there too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Almost made people mad. Almost left that out.
But yeah, my list is too long. I don't think I could cut it down that short. But yeah. So moral of the story, it's gonna be awesome. It's just now a matter of if and when. But
wear the shirt every day until it comes out. That's a lie.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I was like, you can't say that on. So yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps up episode 18. Yep. Oh, super quick, just like really quick. One thing that I forgot with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, they also showed off gameplay for Gamora. Gamora's my new favorite character. Check out the trailer. Gamora's by far my new favorite.
They also showed how the Infinity Stones are going to work too. Right?
Well, yeah, but they kind of went into that beforehand.
Yeah, but didn't they go into all 6? Because I didn't watch it.
No, okay, they only went into 3.
Okay, see, I read an article title that just said, we now know how the Infinity Stones work. So I was just like, oh, they must have showed off all 6.
Just 3.
Okay.
Just 3. And it's the 3 we already knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was nothing new. Yeah, cool. Nothing new there. So like I said, guys, that pretty much wraps up episode 18. Yet again, July 16th, 2017, Sunday, the day of EVO and all the fighting stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, guys, so we have a bunch of stuff coming up in the works. We'll keep it just like that for now. Just pay attention to the channel. Always keep up.
Because we don't want to say anything and then have it not happen.
Exactly.
So.
But more of the story. We are putting out a lot of stuff. I'll be doing a couple live streams this week. We'll be either posting this today or...
we're both on vacation. I'm on half vacation. He's on full vacation.
Exactly.
So we've got time, which is why the Crash Let's Play is happening either Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yes.
Depending on when I get to it.
So like I said, we'll keep it vague. We have a bunch of stuff going on. This video will either get uploaded today or the 17th. And like I said, I'll still be posting a bunch of videos on Twitch. Oh, excuse me. And then we'll be doing a bunch of other, hopefully uploading a couple of things to YouTube. But just keep posted on the Facebook page. That is where we'll be posting all our major updates, letting everybody know what we're doing and when we're doing it. And that's the quickest way to check us all out on there. Also, if you love our conversations, love what we're talking about, want to hear more, want to get involved in the conversation, because honestly, we always chat with people in the comments about stuff, please always subscribe. Like I said, talk in the comments.
Yeah.
We're always appreciative for feedback, all that type of stuff. Any way to entertain you more and give you better news and update stuff that you want to hear, definitely let us know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So on that note, good evening, good night, and good luck. Have a good one, guys.
See you guys.